Okay, good morning. So we're up to Siman Kuf Tzadi Zayin Sif Gimel. We've only got a short time today, so we'll try and finish off Kuf Tzadi Zayin Sif Gimel and Dalet. Says Gimel Hamitztar. Now this is very interesting. So you're sitting having a zimun, and you've got two people having a meal together. The third person comes along to try and do the zimun. What exactly does the third person have to eat in order to partake in to make a zimun? Says the Mechaba. The mitzaref, the third person who is joining to make a zimun, tzarich levarich bracha achrona al masha'achal. First of all, he's got to make a bracha achrona for whatever he eats, right? Ve'ena nifta brachas hamazon shalelu, and he's not yaitza, he's after bracha from the brachas hamazon of the other person. Now, when is that true? When he's just joining the zimun to make a tent. For example, there are 9 people or whatever eating together, and he joins to make to enable them to say Elokeinu. In other words, if you've got 9 people and you want to bring in a tent so that you can say Nevarech Elokeinu, that 10th person doesn't need to eat actually. Doesn't need to, because they've already got their zimun, and you just need a davar shebekdusha to take 10, so he's your 10th man. However, for a zimun of 3, he needs to eat something. So there's different opinions what he needs to eat. The first opinion is he needs to have a kazayis of pas. You should make him wash and join you properly. For yesh oimrim the bekazayis dog and mahani afilu ein pas. He can have a mezonus. For yesh oimrim the beyerek meichel mahani. Even having a bit of vegetable, a bit of fruit, that would suffice. Hilkach. Shnaim she'achlu bashlishi. If you got 2 people and the third person comes along, im yecholim lazkika she'yechel kazayis pas mutav. If you can persuade him to wash and to have some bread, then that's ideal. V'imena reitz, and if he doesn't want to wash and have make motzi, lo yitnu lo lishtos v'lo meichel acher. Sorry, lo yitnu lo lishtos v'lo meichel acher. Don't give him other things, just water. We'll see what that means in the Shabura. And if you just give him some drink or some other meichel, that's good enough to do the zimun. Okay, so let's see the detail in the Mishnah Berurah. So the first point was that even if the guy is just joining to help you make your zimun, he still needs to make his own brachas. He has a piece of cake, so he needs to make his alamichil separately, and he's not yaitza from the brachas hamazon of the other 2 people. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Katan Tesvav. After he's heard the zimun, he's heard the other. He's now done. They've done the zimun. Then afterwards he does his bracha achrona. Ve'ena nifta rotzolema. Afilim yirtz lechav and not says brachas hamazon. Even if he has in mind to be yaitz and to listen to their brachas hamazon, lo mahani. To kaimel and come Siman Reish Ches Sif Yud Bachrenim Sham. To ein brachas shleisha peteres me'ein shalosh. Brachas hamazon doesn't exempt him from the alamichya. It doesn't help you for that either, for alamichya or for brain nefashos. Im ochal tamarim eishas yayin. But if he ate dates or he drank wine, bevadai mahani b'diavad it will help you. If by mistake he benches brachas hamazon when he should have just made an ala gefen or ala eitz, yotza b'diavad. Well, if he made the pasku sham kama achreinim, the af al daisa, even with daisa, with mezonus, porridge or something, in berich brachas hamazon yotza, if he by mistake bench brachas hamazon is yotza, gamba daisa did dinahaki, so too. The same is true with that mezonus. Because I'm magen avron, and the best thing to do is when you're sitting there, you came along a third person, and you had a piece of cake, and they're going to do brachas hamazon. Have in mind, you're not being yaitza from their brachas hamazon to avoid any problems. Because I'm going to make an alamichya on my piece of cake. Now, let's start with Sarah. To belav today yesh chiyuv zimun. That's why I explained before. If you're the 10th man and you're coming along just to do the zimun, then you don't need to eat anything, because even without you, they have a zimun. They only need you to enable you to say the Shem Hashem. However, when it comes to the zimun of 3, then you should eat something. Ideally to eat bread, kazayis pas, the mechai brachas hamazon, or to kazayis dog, and hainu kagoyin daisa, like porridge, or chiyetzu by mimini mazon, shechai v'varach alav bracha be'achaz min shalosh. To be yerek, or b'chol meichel, v'uad in the shtir, or v'chanal b'sif beis l'in asar, the time de'azu, the svir lei, the le'inyan tziruf lezimun, a kilo gamlish le'inyan shleisha, we make it as well. Since two of the three ate bread, and you, a third person, had a kazais of whatever, you had a piece of cake, then your mechuyev make the bracha achrona, and that suffices. Hilkach Shnayim, who the medivri al-mechaber la'achriya ben hashitas. And the mechaber is coming now just to sort of lay down the rule. Ideally, you should encourage him to make moitzi and to have it of bread. If fine. Etc. So just to summarize, that if you've got 9 people and you call in a 10th person who can do, so you can now do zimun b'shem Hashem, he doesn't need to eat anything because they've already got their zimun. He just needs to be the 10th person to have a dovish b'kedusha. You need 10 people. In respect of 3 of doing a zimun, ideally get him to have a piece of bread and to wash and to bench, etc. If he doesn't want to, then if he eats something, even if he drinks something, that will suffice. So let's just do dalit quickly. It won't take very long. We'll do it. Chaverim she'achlu ke'echad. You got friends who are eating together. Ksosam achlu kedei sevia, ksosam le'achlu k'zayis. So you got 3 people eating. 2 of them ate a kedei sevia, and one of them just had a little half a slice of bread. A minimum amount. Im kulam yodim levarich. If they all know how to bench. Mitzvah shevarich oisa she'achal kedei svia. Who should actually lead the benching? The person who ate kedei svia. Why? Because he's got a chi of deraisa to bench. Kedei svia v'yotzes acherim. Now again, we're talking over here where he's actually benching for them and is saying the words of benching and he's being moed to them, not just leading the zimun. We'll see that in the Mishnah Berurah. And none of them know how to bench, then mishal kazais yachol lahitzi alfeisim shachol kedei svia. The person who knows how to bench, even though he's only chiv is midrabanan because he didn't eat kedei svia, he should lead the benching because otherwise the other person doesn't know how to bench. Says the Ramah, yeshayim she'ena chayav v'varach midaraisim lo shosa. That if you're not chayav to bench midaraisa, if you didn't drink, if you're still thirsty to drink after the meal, then your chi of benching is only midrabanan. Make sure the person who leads the benching is the person who drank because his chi is deraisa. Says in the Mishnah Berurah, Sivkot and Chav Gimel, to kiven the hare mehem ochlu kedei svia, u'machavoyim birchas hamazon min ha-Torah, mutav sheyetziem gamkein oisa she'ochlu kedei svia, u'machuyev min ha-Torah k'moisa. The person who has a chiv min ha-Torah should lead the benching and be moitzi the other people. V'kos ha'achreinim d'chol zeh moitzim birchas hamazon. This is only talking about, like I said, you're being moitzi them in birchas hamazon. Av lemevarchim kol echad v'nei atzmai, ela she'echad mezamen aleim. But if it's just leading the zimun, then we're not really bothered who actually leads the zimun, whether he was got a chiv d'raisa or d'rabanan, because lo kaptin kulahai lechatchila yochel lezamen aleim af misha lo yochel ki im kazayis. Okay, fine. So the person actually being moitzi the other should be the person who's got a chi of deraisa. If it's just a question of leading the zimun, anyone can do it. Yochel lahitzi deminater yochel lahitzi chaver b'berachas hamazon afal pi shelo yochel klal. Because really, strictly speaking, I can be moitzi another person even though I didn't eat at all. I can actually bench on his behalf. Why? Kimin shechaver kva ochel v'chayav levarich v'chol yisrael arev mezem bezeh. It's a din in arevus. Ele b'nei she'omer sheker mash omer she'chalnu v'hu la'achal. But for me to say she'chalnu and I didn't really eat, ideally you should really eat something. If I'm Morgan Avram Shemistapik, the Lefizeh im Heim Rak Shnaim, the Belav Hoche in Mazamnin, if there's only 2 people and they don't do a zimun, Efshe Diyochel Yitzir Chaver Sheli Yizeh Levorich, Afilim Lo Yochel Klal. Even if the third person didn't eat at all, if it's a question of just being moitzim, he should do that. The Mesadid Lahachmir, and therefore he should eat something. Because according to the Eli Rabbi, he's got to at least have eaten something. He's got to be mechuyev himself. Now this is going on the Ramah that if you're still thirsty at the end of the meal, you're not chayiv min ha-Torah. V'desfir lehu demad the darish of meh begmar v'ochalta zu achila v'sovata zu shtia hakavona de imshasa la'ach achila oz chayiv levarich v'im lav ein chayiv ele midrabanan. Okay, v'hu toiv lishtois v'im ein toiv lishtois to kulam chayiv midraisa af b'lei shtia. that if he's not thirsty, then for sure you're going to be chayav min haTorah to bench. For tov lizoy lecha tchila rotzolem the lefi pasuk hamachabed mikoydem dem yesh mi shechuyev b'dav midaraisa sheyedei levarich mitzvah sheyavarich hu lahitzi acherim. The person who's got a chiv deraisa should be moitzi the other people. Tov lochush gam l'shitazu sheyavarich mi sheshasa acha chilas lahitzi acherim. He should be moitzi other people. V'hu chayav b'vad deraisa because he's not thirsty. Unless the people who haven't drunk and therefore they've got a chiv drabanan, they don't know how to bench. Says the Mishnah of Ches, if some people ate to satiation and they didn't drink, and they didn't eat properly, but they drunk. Who should bench? Who gets priority? The people who ate to satiation. Why? Because they are for sure chayav min haTorah l'das haposkim after shlosh. For many poskim, even though they didn't drink, their chiv is deraisa. For das Mordechai b'shem Rabbi Loz mimitz das yichida if they didn't drink, which is what the Ramah is going on. Misha is sever kodim she'achal, someone who is full before he ate. V'chol achila gasa v'achal achila gasa, and he just ate because he was just wanted to eat, and it was nachila gasa. Shelo yitzorich lo yisa achila afal pikein imnene groina me'osa achila mevarech olav virchas lefanav la'achrov. Still, because he got some sort of benefit, he still has a chiyuv to eat, to make a bracha before and afterwards. Or moitzi acherim, and he can even be moitzi acherim. V'im nafshe kotza olav. But the mamish, it was such an achila gasa, the ein the nene grona, and it was mamish, he was forcing himself to eat, and he got no benefit whatsoever. Then in that situation you don't make a bracha before or afterwards. That's not considered an achila l'chol mitzvah shebetorah because it's an achila gasa. Commotion is boy b'simen tov ayin vav b'simen tov reishut beis.